Since we've done that here already, we are not going to create it over there. So in case I'm going to send this Power BI file, you can actually create it on your own. So now we've created the drill through to the revenue page. Now the next thing we want to create is for the profit page. We want this button to be able to navigate to the profit page. So the same way we did for the revenue, we're also going to turn on the action here, then enlarge this, expand it, and then move this down. I said earlier that we want this to perform a page navigation. So we are going to change the type to page navigation. Then the destination in this case is going to be profit because we are working with the profit button. So then the same way we are going to say click to view profit analysis. Okay, yeah, good. So now this is what we have. So you can see the tooltip here also. Click to view profit analysis. And now let's test what we have if it is actually working. So now control and click on this and see if you're going to get here. This is also working perfectly. So that's how to create an interactive report. An interactive report using buttons. So now our user won't have to move down here to access the page they want to access. They can just move their cursor around this revenue and then click on it to access the analysis directly. So before starting the second one, are we clear on this? Are we clear on this? Well, we have 30 minutes. Are we clear on this?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, okay. So now the next thing we are going to do, we are done with the home page now. The next thing we are going to do very quick is to just to create a tooltip in our profit page. We are going to use the profit page and not the revenue page. So very fast. I think I have 30 minutes left. Very fast now. What we want to do now is that we want our user when they move their cursor across these charts, across this table, I mean, instead of saying customer name, my grants profit margin 31.61%, we want them to see something. We want them to see more. Like we want them to see like the number of orders made. We want them to see the total sales. We want them to see the total profits. Then probably want them to see the categories of sales in which they purchased from. So at one go, we don't need to create a new chart showing all those. We can actually insert insert everything I've stated earlier in this same chart. And for us to do that, we're going to use the tooltip. This black button or the black rectangle we are seeing here is the tooltip, and this is the default tooltip. But in Power BI, we have three types of tooltip. We have the default tooltip, we have the report page tooltip, then we have the report header tooltip. But in this case, we are going to work with the report page tooltip. And let's see how we can create that. So the problem we want to solve now is that we want our user to be able to see the number of orders. We want them to be able to see the total sales. We want them to be able to see the total profit and also the categories in which the customers purchased goods from at a go when they hover their mouse across this table. So to do that, like I said, we are going to use the tooltip. And so how do we create the tooltip? How do we implement this? So for us to implement this, you have to create a new page where you are going to have your tooltip. And we are going to call this our tooltip page. So we're going to call this tooltip. Let us name it tooltip. The first thing you are going to do when you want to create a tooltip page, a report tooltip page now, is that you are going to move to your format pane here. You can see this is our format pane. Before inserting anything, I think the best practice is to format it as a tooltip before inserting any visual on it. So I'm going to do that now. So we are going to click on this format. Then the first thing we are going to do is to expand this page information, and we are going to turn on the tooltip. So turn on the tooltip, that's the first thing. So I'm going to collapse this, and I'm going to expand the page size now. And then I'm going to change the page type to tooltip. So I'm going to click on tooltip. So this is how you can create a tooltip page. First of all, you change the page information to tooltip. So you turn on the tooltip in the page information. And second is that you change the page size to tooltip. So let's see what we have. So you can see that the page size has changed, and we now have this small canvas for us to build our report. This is where we have to build our reports, and then that's why we call it tooltip, because it's not supposed to be very big. So now we are going to manage this to create our tooltip. And like I said we want to create a tooltip showing the number of orders, total sales, total profits, then the categories. Or okay, let me just leave it at that. Number of orders, total sales, and total profits. Then okay, I will insert the categories now. So now good. So the first thing we are going to do is to just create our visual like we are creating our normal, like we're creating it on a normal page, you get. So now the first thing we are going to do is to pick our card. So this is our card, and I'm going to resize this. I'm going to resize this to something because we want three card visuals here. Three card visuals here. So now I'm going to pick what I want, and which is the number of orders. So for us to get the number of orders by each customer, we are going to use the order ID, because we want to get the number of orders. So now we are going to drag the order ID to the field, and the first thing is going to give us is the first order ID, but we don't want to work with text. What we want to work with is numbers. We want to look at the number of orders by customers. So now what we are going to do is to use our count distinct. And why we are using our count distinct is that a customer can actually order for two or more products, and that the first product is going to have a particular order ID, and the second product is going to have the same order ID. So if we don't use the count distinct, this is going to count as two different orders, but we don't want that because it's actually just a single order. So that is why we are picking the count distinct. So it is just going to pick the distinct count of orders. So now we can see what we have here. You can see that it is not even showing properly. But the first thing we are going to do is to first of all change the name, the category here, because what we have here is the count of order ID. But I'm going to change it to number of orders. Number of orders. So something like this, number of orders. I'm going to click on OK. So you can see that it is forming already. But now we are going to reduce the text size for this visual, and we are going to do that. We are going to move to our data label, and we are going to move it down and change this to something like the text size now. We are going to change it to like 20. I think I'll work with 20. So this is what we have. Then also we want to reduce the size of this category. So we are going to move to the category. This is what I'm working with. And the category we are going to use, I think let me use 9. Let me see. No, okay, it is not fitting. So I'm going to use 8. Yeah, I think 8 is okay. So you can see what we have. You can see that the total number of orders we have now is over 25,000 orders. So yeah, that is the total, not for each customer. So now the next thing we want to get is the total sales. Is the total sales. And for us to get the total sales, so this can be very fast. I'm just going to duplicate this. I'm going to copy and paste, and I'm going to drag it. Let me see what I have. Okay, I have to arrange this properly. So something like this. Okay, and I'm going to. Okay, yeah, this is good. So this is my number of orders. Then I want to make this the total sales. So very simple. I'm just going to change the field instead of having the number of orders here. I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to drag in the sales. I'm going to drag in the sales. So now we can see that the total sales we have here is over 12 million dollars. I'm also going to edit this to change it to total sales. Yeah, this is good. Yeah. So then this is our total sales visual. So the next thing we're going to do is just to create for profits. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to duplicate this and move this here. I'm still going to arrange this properly, but for the meantime, let's have it like this. So now I'm going to remove the sales. Since we want to deal with the profit now, I'm going to remove the sales, and I'm going to drag in our profits. Yeah, this is our profit. Our profit is over $1.4 million. So, and this is our sales, and this is our number of orders. So like I did for total sales, I'm also going to edit this to total profits, something like this. Then to arrange this properly, I'm going to use our formats function. So I'm going to click on my total profits, click on my total sales, and click on orders. Then I'm going to go to formats here. This is our format. Click on formats, and I'm going to align it horizontally so we can have even distribution of the visuals. So distribute vertically now is going to make sure that we have the same space in between each visual, because for me, I love everything to be well arranged. Trust me. So this is how we are going to arrange this. And then very quick, I think I'm going to make this a little bit nice by adding shadow. So I'm going to start with the number of orders, and I'm going to format it, and then add shadow. Sorry, a minute. Okay, I'm back. So I'm going to add shadow, but for me, I don't like the default shadow. So I'm going to very quick create a custom shadow. So I'm going to move edit this. I'm going to edit the preset to custom, and then I'm going to drag this down. I'm going to change my size to 2. The blur, I'm going to reduce it to 5. The angle should be 0. The distance should be 0. And the transparency should be 20. I think I'm good. So, but depending on what you like, this is actually my personal preference for shadow. So we are going to have something like this. So to format the rest very fast, I'm going to use format painter. So I'm going to click on this format painter, which is going to copy the format we have here. And I'm going to put it on our total sales. And I'm also going to copy the format. I'm going to put it on our total profits. So we are going to have something like this. So I think I have to reduce this a little bit. Let me see. Okay, I think something like this is okay. Just to have space. Okay, something like this is okay. So, but because of our time, I'm going to leave it like as this. I'm not going to create more visual. So I'm going to move this down a little bit, something around here. And then this is our tooltip page. We've created our tooltip page now. So the next thing we want to do is now to apply this tooltip page so that the client can actually see it where we want it to be. So this is our tooltip page. And to now apply it, we want to apply it in our profit report. So we are going to click on profits, and don't forget, okay, I'm coming. And don't forget, we want to apply the tooltip on this table. So what we are going to do is to click on this table, and for you to apply your tooltip, you are going to move to your format pane. So click on your format pane and then scroll down. Let's see what we have. Then you are going to use this tooltip menu. So let's expand the tooltip menu and see what we have. So automatically it has picked the report page, which like I said earlier, we want to use the report page tooltip. So it has picked the report page. Then also it has picked the tooltip page. But sometimes you are going to see auto. Most times you're going to see auto here. So you will be the one to change it to the page, which is the tooltip page. So now that's just a simple way to apply your tooltip. Just go to your format pane, expand your tooltip, then use the report page tooltip, and then apply the page in which you want to use. So this is how to apply your tooltip. So now let's see if what we did is actually in effect. So let's move our mouse across the profit margin and see. Um, so now you can see what we have. You can see that for the first customer, though he has 31.6% profit margin, he ordered 15 times. The total sales is over $5,000, and the total profit is over $1,000. So then you can also see for the rest of the customers. So this is how to create your tooltip. This is how to manage your space, and also give your clients
Hello, Darren.
more.
Hmm. Hello. Hello.
Am I?
Your stop just broke for a minute or so.
Oh, okay. Sorry, is the network okay now?
Yes, okay now.
Okay, good. So what I said is this is how to um manage your space, number one, and this is how to give your clients more information concerning these customers. And the same way we created this tooltip for this, we can also apply it to any visual which we have here, except our card visual. So, but we can apply it to this trend. We can apply it to this bar chart, and all other visuals we have here, except our card visual. So, are we clear on this? Do we get this?
Yeah, I'm clear.
Okay, good. So we are going to move to the final aspects. We are going to move to the final aspects, and the final aspect is going to involve the use of selections and bookmark. So very fast, what we want to achieve here is that in this report, you can see that we don't really have space here. We don't have space here, but we want to insert different slicers. We want to have our date slicers, we want to have another slicer, but you can see that we don't even have space for us to put it. So, but with the help of bookmark and selection, we can actually improvise and make these reports or this dashboard more interactive. So that's what we want to do here. So what we want to create is that we want to create something in which you'll be able to hide your slicer and also show your slicer, just a simple one, where you can hide your slicer and also show your slicer. So when the client wants to filter anything, is going to open the slicer pane, and when he's done, he's going to close it. So simple. That's what we just want to. That's the problem we want to solve here. So very fast because of time. To start with this, I'm going to insert a shape. In this case, I'm going to insert a rectangle. A rectangle. So then I'm going to resize it to something like this. Something like this. Okay. Yeah, good. And I'm going to drag this up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is to change the fill. I'm going to change the, oh, sorry, I'm going to turn off the fill. I don't want the fill, but I want the outline, and I want something like this color for the outline. But you can see that the outline is not showing. So for us to make it show properly, we are going to increase the weight. So I'm going to make this 5. I'm going to make the outline weight 5. So this is what we are going to have. So now to make our report interactive, let's open let's open our tools. In this case, we are going to use the selection first. So what the selection helps us to do is to help us display the visuals we have here. So in case we want to rearrange our visual, you can actually use it with you can actually use selection. And then in case we want to hide some visuals, you can also use selection. And in case we want to create a bookmark, you can also use selection. So we are going to use this in conjunction with bookmark. But let's start with selection first. So to make it interactive, I'm going to insert I'm going to insert images. So the first thing I'm going to insert is our filter button. Okay, I have it here. So this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to open this. So this is the image we are going to use for our field screen. So I'm going to put this somewhere here. Let me resize it. Okay. Yeah, I think it is okay here now. So this first image, you can see it here. So this image now, it is what is showing here. This is filter image. This is the name we have for it here. But in this case, I'm going to rename this. I'm going to rename this, and I'm going to change the name to show filter, because we want to use that image. Sorry, show slicer now. We want to use the image to show our slicer. So, but if we want to use this image to show our slicer, we must also have another image to hide our slicer. So in that case, I'm going to use this same image, but I'm going to duplicate it. So we're going to have one to show our slicer and another one to hide our slicer. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to copy and paste this. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste this. So this is it over here. And I'm going to lay it on the previous one. So you can see it here that we're having two show slicer. But in this case, I'm going to rename the second one to hide slicer. It is actually important for you to name this, because you are going to hide one and you're going to show one. So you have to know the one you want to hide and the one you want to show. So in this case, I'm going to name this hide slicer. So I have one to show my slicer and I have another one to hide my slicer. So very fast, I just want to build another one to just take me back to the home page. So I'm going to call on this image, which is the home page. I'm going to call on this. I'm going to resize this, and I'm going to put it here. So what this image is going to help us do is that when we click on this image, it is going to take us back to the home page. So that's the work of this image. So I'm going to rename this also to home page. I'm going to rename this to home page. And the last one I'm going to bring in is a shape which is going to help us to move to the next page. So for this, I'm just going to use our inbuilt shape in Power BI. And okay, I'm going to use this particular one. I'm going to bring in this one. I'm going to resize it, and I'm going to place it down here, something around this place. Okay. So the function of this image here, of this shape here, is to take us to the next page. So I'm going to rename this also to next next report. I'm going to say next report. Yeah, good. So now we're almost done. So now we have an image to show slicer, an image to hide slicer, an image to take us back to the home page, and also an image to move us to the next report. So now let's start to build what we want to build. Don't forget what we want to build is something that is going to help us show slicer and then hide our slicer. So to build this, I'm going to create another shape, which is going to serve as something to make it blur a little bit. So I'm going to drag this and cover everything here. So I'm going to turn off the outline and I'm going to make this black. But I want us to see a little bit of what is going on underground. So I'm going to make it a little bit transparent. So something like this. So when we open our slicer, it is going to be like this, but at least we are going to get to see what we have underground. So that is what we want to do with this shape. So I'm going to rename this to background. We're almost done. We're almost done. I'm going to rename this to background. And then now we are going to bring in what okay, sorry, before bringing in our slicers now, we want, as you can see the arrangement, you can see that when we show our slicer, we also want to be able to hide our slicer. So in that case, our hide slicer now is going to move to the top above the background. So we can have it above the background here. So in case when we show our slicer, then if you want to hide it, it is going to be here. So the next thing we are going to do now is now to bring in our slicers. So the first slicer I'm going to bring in is what we have here, the same date slicer that we have here. So I'm just going to copy this and then I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to paste it here, but I'm going to move it up a little bit. Sorry. Sorry. Oh, okay. So it is asking that should we sync visual? Yeah, we want to synchronize the visual in that when we edit the slicer over in the home page, it should also affect the slicer here. So we're going to say sync slicer. So now I'm going to move it to this side and I'm going to resize it to I'm going to reduce it a little bit. And the next one I'm going to bring in is the next slicer I'm going to bring in is our product hierarchy, which is showing the products category and the products subcategory. So now to bring it in very fast, I'm just going to click on our slicer. Then I'm going to drag the products hierarchy here. I've created this already. And in the product hierarchy, we have the category and we have the subcategory. Then we are going to enlarge this. Let me hide this. We are going to enlarge everything we have here. We're going to hide, enlarge this. Then also we are going to turn off the background. We don't want this white background. So we are going to turn off the background, but we can see that it is not showing the items here. So now we are going to edit the items and make the font color white. White, yeah, good. So then we are going to increase it a little bit so it can be visible. So I'm going to make the text size 12. Yeah, good. So I'm going to move this down here. So this is our slicer. This is what we have. This is everything is almost perfect. So now this is our product slicer. So I'm going to edit this and then rename it as product slicer. And the next one, which is our date slicer, I'm going to rename it as our date slicer. Date slicer. Yeah, so this is what we want to have. So, but we are not done. What we actually want to create is when we open our filter, our slicer pane, we want to have something like this. So this is exactly what we want to have when we open our slicer pane. So for us to be able to capture this state, this particular state that I want this state, we are going to use our bookmark. So that is actually the function of bookmark. The bookmark is going to help us to capture what we have here. Everything we have visible here is going to capture it for us. It's just like a camera. Our bookmark is like a camera. So now for us to capture everything we have here, we said we want this when we open our slicer. We want to have something like this. So we are going to click on this add bookmark here. This is our add bookmark. So we are going to click on add. You can see bookmark 1. So now we are going to edit this and say show slicer pane. So when we show our slicer pane, this is what we are going to have. But now let's now say, okay, what if we want to hide the slicer? What are we going to have? So now if you want to hide the slicer, that means you want to hide this background, you want to hide the slicers, you want to hide the image we have here. So for us to do that, what you are going to do is to actually hide it in the selection pane. So we're going to hide it in the selection pane, then now capture another page. So now let's start with hiding it now. So the first thing, we want to hide our product slicer. We want to hide these dates. We want to hide this image. Then we also want to hide our background. So I think this is actually what we want to have when we are not in our show slicer pane. So we want to have it like this. Then when we want to show slicer, we want to have it the other way around, like we can see earlier. So now this is the exact page we want to have. So like I said, the bookmark is going to help us to capture what we have here. So the same thing we did with the show slicer panel, we're also going to do with this. And we're going to say add. So it has captured what we have here. And we're going to edit this and we're going to say no slicer pane. So this is what we have. Then this is our no slicer pane page. Then if we want to show slicer, let's click on this bookmark. Then we can see what we have. If we want to hide our slicer, you click on this. But now you won't want your users to come back here to open the bookmark pane and start clicking on show slicer and no slicer. So what we are just going to do is to make the image. Don't forget we have this image here, which we name hide slicer and then show slicer. So that is what we are going to use to open our slicer and also to close our slicer. But before that, when we capture the states of our reports, it also captured the data that we have in it. So when you close your slicer, it is going to show you this everything we have here, this profit. It is not going to change, but we don't want it to capture this data because when we edit our slicer, when we filter out something, we want to see that particular thing. So, and to help to do that, we are going to click on this ellipsis here, the more option, and we are going to toggle off the data because, like I said, it has captured the data. So, but we don't want it to capture the data. So we are going to toggle off this for the show slicer and also for the no slicer. So that is actually very important for any bookmark you're building. So now the last thing we are going to do here is now to apply the action. Now we see that we've done the show slicer, then we've done the no slicer, but now we want to make it interactive. We want our user to just click on this image and then show the slicer, filter what they want to filter, then close it back. That's what we want. So now, like you can see here, this image is going to help us to show our slicer. So you are going to click on this image. So don't forget, okay, I'm going to close the selection now, and I'm going to open this image. So this is our image. Now we are going to apply action to this image. So we are going to turn on the action here. And don't forget the same thing we did with our own page with our button is what we are going to do here. Something similar. A type is back, but we are going to change the type to bookmark. Don't forget, we are not working with bookmark. We are not working with page now. We want this particular image to help us switch between bookmarks. So we are going to use the bookmark type. So then we are going to select that. Okay, when I click on this image, I want it to show filter. So we're going to click on the bookmark and we're going to say show slicer pin. And then the tooltip is going to be click to show slicer. As simple as that. So then that is done. So now let's test if this is actually working. So since we're in Power BI desktop, you can see it is already showing us that click to show slicer. Then so when we control click on this, you can see our slicer over here. So this is what we have. So the next thing we are going to do is that this image that we have here, we are going to say when we click on this image, we want to hide the slicer, which is already a bookmark here as no slicer pin. So the same thing we did with that image, we are going to turn on the action here. The action, then we are going to say bookmark. And the bookmark we are going to use in this case is going to be no slicer, because we want something in which when we click on this image, it is going to show us, it is not going to show us any slicer. And that is why we are using the no slicer pin. So for the tooltip, we're going to say click to hide slicer. So something like this. Yeah, good. So now this has been affected. So let's test. Let's see if it is working. So let's control click on this. You can see that now we don't have our slicer again. Let's control click on this. You can see that we have our slicer. Can we see that? So let's edit something here. Let's say we want to see for only office supply. Then also we want to edit. So you can see what is going on underground, right? You can see what is going on underground. So now let's now go back to our report. Let's view our report now. So you can see what we have here now. So this is how to build an interactive dashboard with selections and bookmarks. Then I think this is 7 o'clock. Oh, this is after 7 already. So I think I'm going to
So if you have
end.
another stuff, it depends. If they like this stuff and you still have other stuff to present now.
And yeah, just to finalize how to move across different pages like we have here to apply our action. Yeah. So just to finalize this, okay, thank you for that. So we can see that this is working properly. We can edit our slicer in case we want to see for furniture. You can see everything is changing. Then we can also change the dates to something like this. You can see that everything is changing. Then you can also hide your slicer. So that is actually perfect. So now the next thing we want to do is just to finalize this. We said we want this particular image, the one we have here, to take us back to the home page. So it's something similar to what we have been doing. So what we are just going to do is to say we want to apply action on this particular image. So it's just what we have been doing. Like I said, we're just going to turn on the action here, and we are going to say we want to navigate between pages now, because we said if we click on this particular image, take us to the home page. Take us to the home page. So now we are going to apply that here, and we're going to say this action, we want to use page navigation. Please, before you use page navigation or bookmark, just know your objective. The objective of this image is to take us to another page, while the objective of this filter is to help us navigate between show slicer bookmark and no slicer bookmark. So that is why we selected bookmark in this case. But in that case, sorry, But in this case now, we want to navigate between pages, and that is why we are using page navigation here. So now we are going to make the destination. We want to say destination should be home page. Destination home page. In the tooltip, we're going to say return to home page. I'm going to say return to home page. Yeah, good. So as simple as that, we've created that interaction. So what we just need to do is to test this, and you can see the tooltip already return to home page. So let's just control click on this, and then it is going to take us back to the home page. You can see. So now for us to return, we've created our button here. For us to return to the profit report, so as to finalize the last one, I'm just going to control click on view profit report, and it will take us back. So you can see our report now is now interactive. You don't have to come down here to access what you want to access. And also you don't have to waste a lot of space to have your slicer in your report. You can actually hide it. It's just like surfing the net. Now when you are surfing the net, sometimes you get to open the navigation pane, you get to close the navigation pane when you are done. So similar thing is what we have done here. So then also for the last one, we said the objective of this shape is to move us to the next page. Move us to the next page. So the same thing we did with this home page, we are going to apply the action. And you know where we are going to do it already in the action, in the format pane, sorry. Then we are going to enlarge this, and we want to say page navigation now. So which page do we want this shape to take us to? You can see that after the profit margin, the next page is the revenue. So we are going to say the destination should be revenue. And the tooltip now is going to be click to view revenue analysis. Revenue analysis. And yeah, that's just all you have to do. Just apply your action and then you are good to go. So then let's test. Let's see if it is working. So you can see the tooltip is there already. So when we try to test this, control click, and let's see if it is going to take us to, yeah, it is actually working. So now we are in the reports. Sorry, now we are in the revenue reports. So normally we are supposed to also create our navigation pane here, where we can also return to the previous page and also the next page, and also we can also return to the home page, then also our filter and no filter bookmark. But since we have done everything here, and this is just a short section, so we are going to stop here. So far so good. We started with creating link between our total revenue and total profits, where you can actually just click on this button to access the full reports of profit or revenue. So we created a link where you can just click. Then also the next thing we did is to create our tooltip, which is this. We created our tooltip page, and then we applied it to our table here, in which you can see more information. So you can see that this particular customer ordered 6 times. Then you can see the total sales and the total profits. Then the next thing we did is to create a navigation pane where you can hide and show slicer. So we created bookmarks. We created bookmarks using selections. Then when you control click on this, it is going to show you the these slicers you have. Then also you can also click on it to hide it. Then lastly, we applied actions on these buttons, on sorry, these image and shapes, where you can return to the home page and also move to the next page. So I think I'm going to stop the class here. So Mr. Benedict, I think I'm
Okay, yeah. So thank you for the session. It was actually very, very informative, especially like the bookmarks and how you can
yeah,
write your slides out. I mean, like
yeah.
probably one of the problems is always the space of the visualization tab. It always looks small, especially if it has a lot of pages. So I guess that will solve a lot of problem.
Definitely. It's actually a
So,
powerful feature.
okay, there's a question. Oluwa, you could come up and just unmute yourself and ask
Okay.
the questions.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Okay,
I don't know, Chief Michael, can I ask my question? The one I was
yes,
asking 2 days ago.
2 days ago. I don't
No,
know if, okay, to Michael
no.
also.
Yeah, I was asking him something relating to this.
So this,
Okay, so thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Daniel. My
Yeah.
question is not about slicer and or bookmark. So
Yeah.
please just pardon me, sir. Can you go to that profit sheet?
Okay, no problem.
Thank you very much. Okay, so looking at this 2013 and 2014. So, okay, let's assume we now have 2015, 2016. What if I want to see the percentage increase of profit from 2014 on 2013, of 2015 on 2014?
Okay. Yeah. To do that, you're actually going to you're going to create a measure,
A
which
measure,
is
yes.
the year-on-year percentage. So I think
Okay.
I have that here. I created the measure. So let me see. So you're actually going to create something similar to this is my profit year-on-year now. And I think I used the quick measure. Yeah, I used the quick measure to do that. So you can just click on the quick measure and then locate the time intelligence functions. So in this you are going to see the year-over-year change. So in case you want to see the change from 2013 to 2014, you're going to use this function. So you're just going to click on this, and the base value now is going to be the numerical column you want to use. So now in this case, let's say we want to use the sales. Yeah, this is the sales, and then the date is going to be the date in your model, the date you want to use in your model. So in this case now I want to use let me see, we have the date. Okay, I think I have the dates in the order. So this is my date, the order dates. So I'm going to drag this here. So the number of period now is depending on the degree of change I want to see. Do I want to see between 2012 to 2013, which is 1 year, or do I want to see between 2012 and 2014? You get, that's like 2 years. So, but in this case, we want to use just a year. So we're going to use the number of period, which is 1, and you're going to click on OK. So for the quick measure, it is going to help you to just create it very fast. You don't need to type in any DAX. So it is going to help you to create it. Then let me see where I'm going to have this. Okay, I think I'm going. Okay, yeah. So this is my measure here. You can see the sales year-on-year percentage. So with this, let me just to explain to finalize this, let me bring in my slicer, and then I'll bring in the dates in this case now. I'll bring in the dates. So I'm going to use date hierarchy, because we want to look at between years. We want to look in between years now. So I'm only going to have the years now. Are you still following?
Yes, please, I'm here.
Okay, so now we have our slicer, and lastly we are going to create a card so as to show the percentage change. So now in the card we are going to drag our sales year-on-year percentage. So let me just close everything I have here. So now you are going to, okay, so this is what we have. So if you want to see the change, the percentage change between 2011 and 2012, just click on, okay, let me drag this over here. Just click on 2012. So now you can see that we have 18.5% change.
Yes.
Yeah, then also if you want to see for 2013, that's 27%. Then lastly for 2014, That's 26%. But when you click on 2011, it is blank
Since it's our
because
base here.
so that's just a simple way to create your year-on-year change. And this is actually fast because we have it in our quick measure. So I don't know, is that clear?
Okay,
Have I
it's very
answered?
clear. It's very clear, but what if I want to have it on a graph? I want to see 2012
Yeah.
on 2011. I want to see 2013 on 2012. I want to see 2014 on 2013.
Okay. Something like using a waterfall chart. You can use a waterfall chart for that. And in this case, you are going to first of all, you are going to drag in your order dates as your category. So I'm going to only use the year, and then the fact now is going to be the sales on year. Sorry, the values is going to be the sales year on year. So now you can see the yearly change. So you can see that from 2012, 18.5. Then the next one is 2013, which is 27.2. So you can see the yearly change.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. This has helped me.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other questions from any of the guests, any of our from our audience? Hello, any other questions? Okay. Since there's no other questions, okay. Once again, thank you for this. Thank you for accepting our invite. Sorry that maybe if we stole some about your time.
Oh,
Then
no problem with that.
okay. Okay. So during the end of the session, whenever we invite someone new, we always ask like 2 questions. Like maybe how you started, like how you got to data analytics, and any advice you have for those that are looking to join to follow this path.
Okay. Thank you. So starting with the first question. I started analyzing data in my undergraduate days, but it was more of academic analysis. So
SPSS and yours.
yeah, SPSS, EViews and co. So nothing related to Power BI and Power BI Tableau or any of the BI tools. So I started with that. Then when I graduated, I felt like okay, I can't because I'm not an academic person. Let me say I don't want to go into the academic analysis in proper. So I feel like okay, how can I explore the business world? So okay, I have this skill already. I have the analysis skill already. How can I apply this to the business world? So that is when I started with Power BI. I actually started with Power BI, and that is that last year? Yeah, last year, March last year actually, March last year. So I started learning March last year. Then after that, I picked up different tools: SQL, Tableau, Excel, Python, and co. So and I started improving also. So basically, that's how I started. I started from academic analysis, and I switched into the organizational analysis or the business analysis.
Okay. Okay. So it's kind of similar to my.
Is that done?
So I said it was kind of similar to my story.
Oh, okay. And another thing that helped is that I studied economics. So it's kind of so we did a lot of stats, econometrics. So it made things easier, kind of. Yeah. So that has been my journey so far.
Okay. So thank you. Then again, yeah, the second question for those starting out, because the group are usually mixed with professionals. Like I say,
Okay.
it's one of the questions very technical. and those that are also starting out. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, an advice to those just starting is that trust me, we have a lot of opportunities in this field. A lot. I'm like a lot. But the thing is that we also have a lot of data analysts. But
Transformation.
the thing is that for you to be different, or for you to be acknowledged, you have to skill up. Very important, because we have a lot of data analysts in town, abroad, but for you to have an edge over them, you have to skill up in several tools. Then also, what I do say is that you have to practice. This field involves practice, like a lot of practice and continuous practice, and learning also. You have to continue learning, because personally for me, I think I learn 2 hours a day on different platform,
Oh, nice.
skilling
Like what
myself.
like what platform?
Yeah, sometimes I just pick up YouTube videos. So I just look at short tutorials. Then sometimes I use Udacity. Sometimes just random articles. I read books also, just to develop myself also. Then sometimes Coursera. So any platform I find very okay. YouTube, Coursera, Udacity, EDX, all these online platforms generally. Then I watch tutorials a lot. So I think if you can include this in what you do every day, practice a lot, do something a little bit different from what others have been doing. Trust me, you're going to make it big in this field.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so we have spent a lot. We have spent 20 minutes over the time. So the thing maybe I should probably we'll end the session very soon. So if there's any other questions, oh then again, oh yeah, we should just ask if you will open for another session. Maybe not now, maybe end of the toward the end of the year or maybe next year. You're
Yeah,
open.
no problem. I'm always open. No problem with that.
Very much. So
Always.
thank you once again for attending, and thank you to our audience for also attending and always coming online to attend the sessions.
Okay.
Okay.
So thank you, everyone. I really appreciate
Thank you,
being.
Mr. Daniel.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. Daniel.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel.
yeah. Thank you too. Thank you. Okay. Good night from my side.
So good night and have a good day.
Mr. Daniel.
Thanks. Have a
Right.
nice week, everyone. Thank you all. Bye.
Yeah.
Night, everyone. Thank you.
Bye bye.